I am an artist, producer, actor. I am a storyteller too. I am also a youth advisor, and I do promote music, and I try to develop the collaborations between Zimbabwe and Sweden in terms of culture. My name is ManLuckerz Makandire, Lakson Chezhira Chikutu. Actually, Chezhira came from my mom. I got it when I was born. Actually, I was born on the road, just behind the Good Mission Hospital. So actually, it was fun when or how I came out from my mom's stomach, because she was walking with her sister. All of a sudden, her stomach started to hurt. She started screaming, and then the young sister did not know what to do. What she did actually was just staring at her sister. And then the sister told her to run to the midwife. She called the midwife. Midwife came because it was just some meters away from the hospital, but somewhere in a hill where we call what do you call it? Flat rock. So that's where she was, actually. And then the midwife came. Actually, she found me lying on the ground. I couldn't even breathe. Nothing was happening. And then she thought I was dead. Of which she tried to just to feel my body, just like this. Oh, that's when I started screaming. And then she was, oh, Lucky Son. That's where I got my name, Lucky Son, Lakson. And then my mom actually was like, oh, you mean now he is called Lucky Son? And then she said, yeah, he's Lucky Son. I thought he was dead. And then my mom was like, but Lakson is an English name. She said, yeah, but it doesn't matter. She said, what can we call him in Shona? And that's when she came up with Chezhira, because everything just happened on the road.
On the road.
Yeah.
And Chezhira, the word means the road.
That's right. Someone who is always on the
road.
That's right.
From the very beginning of life, the value of identity is ever strengthened in the African child. Lakson, his first name, is not given by the mother, but by the midwife. Already the ideals of community that Africa dearly holds can be seen here. A philosophy is already reinforced that a child is born unto a community, and not just unto the biological parents responsible for bringing him into the world. Lakson from the midwife and Chezhira from his mother. These are the two names the son would carry, and in turn they would carry him for the rest of his days as he passes through life. But is this still true of identity and worth of belief for the African child? Is this true for Chezhira?
Yes, one could say that. When I come to Lakson, one could start thinking of, what does lucky mean? What does son mean? So Luckson means a happy man or a lucky man, someone who is always like, you just get everything in the right way or on your side. That means you are lucky, right? Chezhira, that's someone who is always on the way. Even if you want to look at how I do my things, normally I'm someone who is everywhere. You call me like now, you hear, I'm in Malmo, I'm in Gothenburg, I'm everywhere. I'm always on the road. So that one actually, someone could relate it to Chezhira. Actually, if you wanna look at it, how I went through my hardships all my life, since my childhood until today, it was not an easy way going. But well, I fought until I came to where I am today. And it is because I'm called Luckson. I'm a luck man. Imagine like what happened during my accident. I was supposed to die, but through God's will, He managed to save me. And I could say, yes, I was lucky. I luck son. And I was on the road too, Chezhira. Life actually was not easy when I grew up, Well, I grew up during the time where things were hard, but not the way they are today. You could fight and achieve what you are struggling for. But nowadays, you can't even fight, try to work hard for what you want to achieve without success. So actually, it was not easy even how, like my parents were like, I could say my father, yes, he was a good man. The way he supported us, the way he fought for us as a family. He was a strong man, a well-braved man. Together with my mom, they fought together. They had a very good collaboration in terms of grooming their children in a positive way. But my father actually wanted me to be someone, but actually I had my own plans. My father had his own plans. Yes, I was good in school. I went to school. I did all studies accordingly. I just did my music business program. I am an artist, producer, actor. I am a storyteller too. I am also a youth advisor, and I do promote music, and I try to develop the collaborations between Zimbabwe and Sweden in terms of culture. I just have 2 children. My son now is 20 years old, and my daughter, she's 12 years. I sing sometimes with my daughter in my band. I am also trying to teach her how to sing and dance the Zimbabwean way. I am trying to hand it over to her whilst I am still young. It's good for her to know her roots. My first time when I came to Sweden was 1999, when I came through a project which was between Zimbabwe and Sweden, a cultural exchange program which was there between SIDA and Zimbabwe. There were also some organizations like Studio Fremiendet, which was also collaborating with SIDA, and a theater group which was also collaborating with SIDA, which was called Teofota. Actually, that's where people whom I met were working with this theater group, which was called Teofota. I met them in Zimbabwe, and then from there, that's when we started to develop our collaborations, and actually we ended up inviting each other, like what they did. They talked to SIDA, and then SIDA actually managed to approve their budget that we come to Sweden. That was 1999. And then we came and do our exchange programs, where we did some workshops in dancing, Zimbabwean dance, drumming, singing, and some Mbira workshops too, and some storytellings, and how we do theater back home in Zimbabwe. And we did some lectures also about Zimbabwean culture. And yes, we went back after the program. Actually, that was the time when I met my wife. I went back and then came back again. That was 2000, in 2000. And then, yeah, that's when actually I started to think of if it was okay for me to stay in Sweden or going back home. Actually, at that time, Zimbabwe was one of the best country to be in the early 2000s. Even our economy was at a better level, not like the way it is today. Then later on, I just decided to stay. I decided to stay behind, and well, my friends whom I came with went back. That was 1999, and they didn't come back again. So after that, it was only me now coming back to Sweden, and then I stayed from 2000 until I went back home just for a visit to my parents. When I came to Sweden, I just thought of, okay, here they don't use English. What else? But it's only their language. What can I do to come into the society, of which I managed to keep my focus on studying Swedish. Actually, that helped me a lot. for me to come into the society, even for me to start sharing my culture or my music with the Swedish people, it came after I started speaking their language, the Swedish language. Because without the Swedish language, I don't think you can come anywhere in Sweden. It's very important for an immigrant to learn a language if you want to come into the society, or if you want them to accept you as someone from another culture. You know, when you come to a new country and you are interested to live in that country, you have to show that you are really interested to be with the people in the country. In what way? That means you have to start with learning the language. Language can give you more points to come in to the society in an easy way without struggling. Actually, for me, it was not easy. I fought. I went to this Swedish school where I did my SFE. They call it the Swedish for immigrants. So I did all levels which are supposed to be done, and then I went to the gymnasium. I did that. Everything went well for me, and from there, actually, that's when I started to think of starting my university at a different level. At an advanced level. Yeah, I'm a musician. I need something. I need to improve myself. But how? That's when I got this program called Music Business at SAE Institute of Technology in Stockholm. It was something for me, actually, to learn something new in life. That's how I started, actually. I did that, and then something happened soon after, when I was doing my last thing to finish my program. That was in 2014. That was the time when I was sitting on a wheelchair.
To understand how Chezhira ended up on a wheelchair from the year 2014, one would have to go back to the year 2007, when Chezhira and his music outfit embarked on an ambitious music and cultural project.
I started a program exchange called ZIMFEB, Zimbabwe Music Festival Bira, whereby I'm trying to bring different cultures together so that they share their experiences and develop them in different ways. Loco, my brother from Mozambique. I took musicians from Sweden to Zimbabwe and musicians from Zimbabwe to Sweden. By doing so, actually, I managed to improve some part of the tourism side in Zimbabwe, and also back to Sweden. I managed to bring in some more confidence about this sharing thing. In Zimbabwe, we normally say ukama igasha tinozasane kujga.
In English, we say our kinship is incomplete until we share a meal.
So that was the reason behind all this. Because like when I was going with people from Sweden to Zimbabwe, they used to go early to Zimbabwe, or if we say we will have our program maybe in the middle of September, they would go like in the beginning of September. Then they will have like 2 weeks vacation. They go to Victoria Falls, Kariba, Wange, trying to enjoy their lives. And also, even the Zimbabwean people, when they came to Sweden, they were like also being shown in important places with some good history behind. They were also learning. What I can also say, I was trying to strengthen the relationship between Zimbabwe and Sweden in terms of cultural activities.
And strengthen the relationship he did. Chezhira's work would not go unnoticed, to say the least. In fact, it drew the attention of news networks, both local and global.
An unlikely fusion of local tradition and European folk music. Many could not resist the urge to get up and get down. The Zimfebi International Music Festival is now in its 7th year. This is the second time it's been held in Zimbabwe, and the organizers wanted to involve more local people.
I wanted to go in the villages so that the disadvantaged or the underrated people could also have a chance to see what is guitar, what is the drum set.
Hundreds turned out in rural Guruve and at venues in Harare during the week-long festival. And the international participants also picked up some new moves.
I love to dance, so that's what I wanted to share. I wanted to share my dancing, the things I do back home in Sweden. I dance Cuban salsa. And I also wanted to see all the Zimbabwean moves and how you dance here, the different dances, so I can pick up different steps and use that with my own dancing, you know.
It's always a pleasure to travel with music because you never know where you will end up. And it's a key to come into different kinds of room which you maybe don't have access to if you're just a tourist.
All the local acts will get a chance to perform in Europe later this year. Organizers hope to strengthen the cultural bridge between Zimbabwe and Europe. Farai Mokutuya, CCTV, Harare, Zimbabwe.
So what happened to Zimfebi? Did local artists from Zimbabwe make it to Sweden in the year 2014?
On the 10th of August in the year 2014, Chezhira was involved in a road accident when he took Zimfebi to Zimbabwe for the second time. He would go on to spend almost a year on a wheelchair, yet still in his most trying times on a sickbed, which he believed would turn into a deathbed. Chezhira had time to reflect and share more lessons on identity through his book titled Flashback Identity. So what inspired the book? How exactly did the book come about?
So what was happening was, when I was laying in a hospital, some of the times I used to think like, whoa, I'm still alive. But I could not talk. I could see, but I could not understand anything around me. What I could see in front of me was my children. I could start, crying. Imagine if it was meant that, Chezhira was not going to be on earth. Whom gonna tell or have managed to tell my children about our family history, the actual information. And then I started by writing down, no, I want my children to know about my family. I want them to know where my father came from, where my grandfather came from, and my mom's side, where my mom came from, where my mom's parents came from. So I wanted to write in an exercise book whereby I wrote maybe 30 pages in the beginning, and then I gave it to my wife. She read it, and then she was like, why can't you just, try to research more about your family? You try to collect information from different relatives, friends, and people of the village. Maybe it can be something for your kids, for the world. It's good for us to know. Also, who is ManLuckerz? Your road, or what had happened before. Let the world know about it. And then I started to think about, the music business itself. How to reach the general people. And then I wanted to share more about music business, how it works. I also wanted to share more about Zimbabwean history.
The Bantu people. The Bantu people are speakers of the Bantu languages and consist of numerous ethnic groups in sub-Saharan Africa. They are spread over a vast area of the continent, from Central Africa, across the African Great Lakes to Southern Africa.
I wanted people to know about Zimbabwean history, about Zimbabwean culture. For example, we have Zimbabwean dances, Zimbabwean music. So it's something that I also wanted to share to other cultures. Actually, I took it as an advantage of, myself, I'm living here in Sweden. I wanted also people to read a bit about my country. I also wanted people to know more about my biography, how I did everything in life, how I have gone through everything. And the other thing also I wanted to share in this book was how we as human beings, how we could build bridges between each other, how we as people could collaborate in terms of culture, how we people could think culture is one thing. What you do in Sweden, you might do it in a different way. Like in Zimbabwe, we have what we do in Zimbabwe. We have like Anakuro Agua, Manyaradzo, like Kubika, Doremusha, all such things. In Sweden also, they do the same thing. They have like, this Sister April that we don't have in Zimbabwe, but we do it in a different way. Not the same way like they do in Sweden. So it was something also that I wanted to put down so that whoever is here and there could understand and have a know-how about who is ManLuckerz, who is Zimbabwe, who is Sweden, and what's going on between the two. My wife played an important role when I wrote the book, Flashback, Identity. She was one of those who did the editing part of it. She could take her time to put on the editing part of it. And I have my manager also, who also did some editing, and my friends from Zimbabwe and Sweden, who also helped or contributed towards the Flashback Identity book.
When he returned to the stage in the year 2018, Chezhira for his cultural work received a recognition award for the continuous promotion and advancement of African culture in Europe from the AITV network and the African Embassies Collective in Sweden. At the time of recording this documentary, Chezhira was already within the final lap of his studies to become a youth advisor, and today Chezhira has already been awarded his diploma after the completion of his studies.
I wanna combine all this. Like if I combine a music business program with this youth advice and children assistant, then I could work with school children or with different schools, developing my old program which I started with, which is called Zimfeb, whereby I would love to bring different cultures together and share their experiences. I mean, in terms of the new generation, that's where I'm trying to put more effort or energy, because I want them to see or understand that sharing culture is something which is very, very important for us all.
I notice a kindred spirit in Chezhira, a man strongly motivated to help society realize what it fully can achieve when culture and identity are given the recognition that they so deserve. Yet for these two, culture and identity, one would be curious, as I was, to know what becomes of them, especially when the path and forces of life uproot you from the comfort of that place you call home and settle you 14,000 kilometers away in a different land, one with its own identities, beliefs, philosophies, and its own culture. How much of yours can you possibly retain? And how do you identify after living almost half your life away from home?
I identify myself as Zimbabwean, but I am someone who have accepted the Swedish culture in me, the Zimbabwean culture in me. So that means, if you wanna go all along, you must, and it's a must, that you make a very, very good balance between those. Without, it becomes chaos, catastrophe. If you want to make a very good balance between, you have to make a very good mixing, whereby you know that, okay, like my wife, she's from Sweden, I'm from Zimbabwe, and now we have our two children. How can we make it so that our children and even my wife and myself feel at home? For me, actually, what I can say, I feel at home when I'm in Zimbabwe. I feel at home when I'm in Sweden. And I have tried to create my own community whereby I don't feel lonely. Even when I'm here in Sweden, I manage to make it in such a way that I always meet my Zimbabwean people in different ways. We always talk the same way I do even when I go back home in Zimbabwe. So for me, actually, I don't see the difference between the two. I feel at home in Zimbabwe, I feel at home in Sweden, because the Zimbabwean people, they welcome me when I go back home. The Swedish people, they welcome me when I come to Sweden. And I have never, not even a single day, that I have experienced, this discrimination thing, especially in Uppsala, where I am based. Sweden have not changed anything in me, but what Sweden have done was to add more confidence about how to deal with daily life's issues. I've learned a lot in Sweden. Actually, when I came to Sweden, I kept on working with my traditional experiences, and I did manage to share them with not only the Swedish people, but the Scandinavian people, and also some other people from other different European countries that I could say. And what I can say also, like when I came to Sweden, I kept on working with my Zimbabwean traditional music, which I saw at last that the Swedish people ended up supporting me more than they expected, of which it was something which gave me more power, more energy to put more time on this Zimbabwean traditional music. And that's why even I am the way I am today. Actually, all this, I got it from the Swedish people, how to focus or work more on your identity as a Zimbabwean. Because the Swedish people are not saying you have to change your identity just because you are living in our country. No. Swedish people are saying keep your identity, do whatever or whatever you have used, or something that you are used with, something that you really believe in. The Swedish people are saying, yes, welcome with that, as long you understand how the Swedish law or how the Swedish people are also trying to share what they have with you. What actually inspired me in Sweden was collaborating with other people or sharing with other people. That thing actually in Sweden helped me a lot. And also even with this, how to strategize your work, how you can keep on focusing on something that you are something that you intend to. How do you achieve your goals? Actually, that's what I can say I've learned in this country. Like, see, judge and acting. I've learned it more in Sweden. And this dedication, determination and discipline, actually I've learned it more in Sweden. More also about trust. If you wanna come somewhere or go somewhere, trust is very, very important. That actually helped me a lot when I came to Sweden, for me to build up this trust side, When I came to Sweden, I tried to see how I could fit in with my Zimbabwean identity or tradition, of which that's what I did when I started working with my cultural activities. I saw it that the Swedish people were very, very positive. They were happy to hear something totally different from Zimbabwe. It is important for a human being to maintain his or her identity. Why? Because it helps you not to get confused or to think about whom am I today? Am I Swedish? Am I Zimbabwean? You see, like, you find young generation destroying bus stations, burning cars, stealing, taking drugs, all that thing. It is because of this flashback identity confusion. Young generation are getting more confused. because mama or papa are not even telling their children more about their tradition, more about their family. How do you expect a young boy to know about his or her own culture if papa or mama don't tell? So actually, this identity thing has to start from the day you come out from your mom's stomach.
After listening to Chezhira talk about identity and culture, as an anthropologist, I come to a fatal conclusion that the concept of home as it relates to these two has either become partially or totally elusive to its former connection to physical spaces and geography. The physical space is no longer the domineering factor it once was in defining a home. The human connections within which one's culture and identity are accommodated, and also in turn accommodate the identities and cultures of others, is the new domineering factor in defining home. And curious as one may be to know what is next for a man like Chezhira, only the road will tell.
Samuona upenyu hwakaoma zvokwadi kutauriwa winyimwa mbare dzekumusana. Amai vangu vari kacheche, vari kasikana, vandibara wenyu. Ndakabarirwa paruware kugutu mission, ndiri kumwa kutembera. Ende vakomana vangu vane kamuning'ina kavo. Zvikanzi, iwe manyisa unodana midwife akauya paakasvika zvokwadi akangowana ika chana chadonhera padombo pai kudonhera padombo paipe